You're listening to Pathways and Means, a podcast that inspires and shows people how to tap into their creative spirit. We sit down with leaders and makers in every industry to talk about their process, what inspires them, and about how to build incredible things with the power of creativity. The future belongs to the creators, so come join us. This is Pathways and Means.
Yo, it's your boy SJ. I'm back in the building once again for Pathways and Means podcast. Man, we coming to you with something very special today. You know, I say that all the time, but me and this guy, we go back, he's family. And the man just came back to Kansas. Roger Ortega is in the building, baby. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's really, and I say this every time I come home. It's good to be home, but it is really good to be home now, like for good.
Well, man, I'm seeing you popping up everywhere. I mean, it's like every week there's a show, there's this, but I want to take things back.
Okay.
Like because I mean, you're a very competitive person. Mm-hmm. You give your all, and your work ethic is crazy. Yep. But as far as I heard a little rumor that you had the opportunity, even the potential to be in the Olympics as a teen. Yep. What is that about?
So I used to be a boxer back in the day, and it was funny. My mom was my coach. A lot of people don't know that. My stepdad.
She got hands.
My mom got hands. Yeah, she can still work them on the pads. Like my brother Chris fought his first pro fight a few years ago, and she was in his corner, and I just watched them work the pads, and she's still quick as ever. It's crazy. But when they asked me, my mom was like, hey, we're thinking of starting a boxing club, her and my ex-stepdad. And I was like, oh, that'd be a good way to go out and meet girls, And I was like, all right, I'll do it. There were never any girls at these, and if there were, they weren't for me, nothing. But it was, there were never any girls, and I hated boxing at first. I lost every match. I probably lost my first 11 fights. I just wasn't into it. I wasn't into fighting. And then something clicked, and I was like, if I'm going to do this, and this is me at 14, 15 years old. I'm like, or maybe a little younger. I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. And that's when I started developing a work ethic for if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go all the way. Ended up going on and winning, I can't remember, 1 or 2 Golden Gloves tournaments. And then I went on to win the national championship for the PAL down in Florida. Florida. And it was great. And my mom, wanted me to keep going. And but then somewhere between practice, and getting punched in the face and punching people in the face, I started a pop group when I was 14 years old. And I found that it was much easier to meet girls that way than it was to go out and get punched in the face to do it. And I had a love for music, and that was my passion. It's something I've always wanted to do. And, when I told my mom, hey, I don't want to box anymore, and she was my coach. She knew how good I was. She knew my potential. And she's like, the Olympic trials are coming up. You could be doing, you could be going to the trials. We can get you in the trials, and I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't, my heart's not in it.
You had women to sing for.
I had women to sing for. That's right. So I got my little group together, Javier Escalante, who's, I don't know if you know Jav or not.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think he's family too. Family too. Adrian Mosqueda and.
Oh, I know that guy. Why he always give me the business?
Dude been around, man. He's been around for a minute. But
that's the man. Shout out to him. Blah, blah.
Yeah, man, my man Adrian. But we started this group, and I walked away from getting punched in the face, for
and punching people in the face.
And punching people in the face. I did get knocked out one time, and it was right after nationals, and I learned a hard lesson with that too. I was cocky. After I won nationals, you couldn't tell me anything. Yeah. You couldn't tell me anything. Teenager. At the time,
pride come before the fall. Literally, right?
Absolutely, man. Literally. I actually, I had a full head of hair. I was a good-looking kid. I was a fighter. I was in shape, and you couldn't tell me anything. And we get to this fight and find out this kid, Jesse Aquino, is fighting me that night. He had moved up in weight classes and was gonna fight me. Now he'd already fought a couple guys on my team and beat them. And I'm like, my mom's like, you got Jesse tonight. And I'm like, all right, I'm good. And she is like, no. She's like, you're not gonna take it like that. She said, Jesse is he's really good. He's a really good fighter. She's like, and he's taking this serious. And I'm like, Mom, I fight people bigger, faster, better than him all the time. So, I got this. So I go around the first round and I'm just like toying with Jesse, just like jabbing, trying to be cute or whatever. And I was good. Went back to the corner. Coaches are like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, I'm good, and they're like, no, get your head in this game, or in this fight. Go out there, tie up with Jesse, and drop my hands to be cute. Bam, 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 3 punches I did not feel. And I'll tell you, when you see the cartoons where they hit, where you hear the bong, I heard that bong, my body went numb, I fell back in the ropes, and the referee's counting, and he's like, are you good? And I'm like, and I wasn't. I'm trying to focus on him, and I covered up, and Jesse came and just hit me with a bunch more shots, and they were just like, But I learned a lesson that day. That you're right, pride before the fall, And I fought Jesse 2 months later in the Golden Gloves tournament, and I beat him. I took him seriously this time, and it was a tough lesson to learn, man. But we all got to go through stuff like that, and getting knocked out in front of a bunch of people is not cool, But if you take something from that, it is cool, Like, all right, I learned a life lesson, not just the fighting thing, not to keep my hands up. It was you respect everybody.
That's heavy, man. I love that right there. It's a lot of people talk about how you got to earn respect and all the other type of stuff, but respect should be given until something happens to where this person isn't respectable anymore. But it shouldn't be anything that has to be earned from jump. It should always be given. No, that's dope. And even as far as your mother being your trainer and everything, when you made that transition into music, what was that like?
It was rough. It was rough on the relationship with my mom because she saw so much potential in one thing. I saw so much potential in another. And my dad was supportive either way. And my dad was being a musician and whatnot. I told my mom this is what I wanted to do. And she got mad and she's like, she goes, you're not going to make it. Your dad never made it. And you're not going to make it either. And I'm like, Mom, Dad's not trying to make it. Like, they just like playing at weddings. Like, they're not trying to make it. This is completely different. And so we didn't talk for like maybe 2 months, something like that.
So that's like that Rocky Balboa. You can't win.
Yeah, basically, you can't sing. So, and at the time, listen, I don't blame her because we weren't very good at that time. We were just, I always say this, we were literally just a bunch of cute kids doing something positive. We were very anti-drug, anti-alcohol, all that stuff. We wanted this good boy image that I felt like there was something to that. But the talent wasn't necessarily there yet. We had just begun. We hadn't had a chance to go up in front of crowds and be embarrassed and just like getting knocked out, You learn from each show. Every single show I do, I learn something. And it took us a lot to kind of chisel away the amateurism, if you will, to find that professional performer inside and to mold that performer. And we, when she finally came to our first show, she became my biggest fan. So shout out to my mom.
Blip, blip. Shout outs to her. So now there's I want you to talk about this because it's really cool because this song that you guys chose to sing, you deal with this group at this point. So there was a show, I think it was a Fiesta show, and your band did some different stuff there. And I heard that somebody may have tried to snatch you off the stage or
so yes stuff. There we were. So we performed at the Fiesta, which is basically a fundraiser for the church. And we were kids. We were 14, 15 years old. My favorite group in the world at the time was Color Me Bad. Yep, exactly. So they had a song called I Wanna Sex You Up. And we loved the song. We didn't think anything of it. So we put it in our set, which was on a stage that happened to be right next to the church.
Right.
So we're singing I Want to Sex You Up right next to the church. During the song, the priest comes up to me. He's like calling me to the front of the stage. So I get down there while I'm singing, grabs me by the collar. He's like, this is a family show, keep it that way. And I was so embarrassed. And I tried to play it off or whatever. And we finished our show. And, we were like, so we were stupid, but we were like, well, that's it. We boycotted the fiesta the next year or two. We're not going back. They didn't even ask us back. We're not going back. Anyway, we came to the story. It turned into us getting kicked off the stage, is what it eventually came to. A few years ago, I was asked, as an adult now, and with a little bit of success behind me, I was asked to headline the fiesta, and so I went up there, and I told the story of us getting kicked off the stage, back in whatever year it was, 1990, whatever. And
you did this on the Fiesta stage.
I did it. I'm at the Fiesta now, and I'm headlining it, and I'm telling them the story of us getting kicked off as kids. And I was like, Father Dan, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what?
You said his name and everything.
Oh, I said his name.
You're going to rat the man out.
I said, well, he knows. and so we, I looked around, I was like, I'm feeling bad tonight. And I don't see Father Dan here tonight. And I said, in fact, I'm feeling color me bad. Boom to the tick-tock, you don't stop. And so we brought it back. I brought back the original guys in the group to come do the choreography with me.
Okay.
And we did the song again. So I got hired again to headline the Fiesta the following year. And I was like, this is great, And then the promoter of the Fiesta, the guy who hired me, signed the contract and everything, calls me. He goes, hey, man, I didn't know that you got banned from the Fiesta. I was like, oh, yeah. I said, man, but that, we were kids, blah, blah, blah. He goes, no, I mean last year. I was like, last year? He goes, yeah, apparently you told the story of you guys getting kicked off the stage because you sang I Want to Sex You Up, and then you sang I Want to Sex You Up again. He's like, so they banned you. And I'm like, no way. I said, well, we have a signed contract. And he's like, well, let me figure out what I can do. So I had to write a letter to the priest detailing what my show was going to be and an apology letter. For them to, basically say, okay, you're good to go. My shows are all PG-13. Like, I'm not saying anything, singing anything, or saying anything different than those guys on the other side singing Spanish, probably saying, it's a PG-13 show. And I don't get too dirty. It's just not me anyway, at least not in public. And so, there it is.
There it is. Boom.
Boom. But, it's my shows are family shows. They're geared more, towards older kids, but, we bring everybody in. So, I felt like it was, the times have changed, man. I Want to Sex You Up isn't that bad of a song,
especially with
when you hear what's going on now, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say this, man, if I can just real quick touch on how I feel about today's
Absolutely.
R&B.
Yeah. How do you feel about today's R&B?
The way I feel about today's R&B is I feel like love is on life support is what I feel like. I feel like the songs today, they don't give anyone, they're not as subtle, and that's what Sex and Love has always, that's what's sold previous R&B. Like R&B from the beginning was just romance. There's no romance in today's stuff, and a lot of today's stuff. I put on like today's R&B on a playlist on Spotify. Every other word was, I'm gonna F this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna just, give me some money, I'm gonna, and listen, am I too old? Is that what it is? Where is the love? Like, love is on life support, and that's gonna be a song now that I'm saying.
I was gonna ask you. That's
gonna be a song. That's a great title for a song. Nobody ever take that.
Write that down, right?
But that's how I feel about it. It's cool. I love the vibes. I love the beats. Hate the lyrics. Absolutely hate them. Man.
Hated it. So, Roger, I've always loved your perspective on different stuff, but as we're talking about this music thing, I just need the people to know. Now, you sit on the Recording Academy. Am I saying that the right way?
So, I'm part of the Recording Academy, which is the association that votes for the Grammys, and they put on the Grammys and all of that. I'm a voting member of the Recording Academy. Which means,
now, how did that come about?
My manager, Katrina of Kick Up Your Heels, and What Up Rachel as well, Kick Up Your Heels Entertainment, they're out of Canada. They had said, hey, we think you've earned enough to get into the academy. And by earning, I don't mean earn enough money. I mean like have got enough accolades and whatnot. So they were like, you need to send in your paperwork for your application for it, documents supporting everything that they're requiring, which was record sales, attendance, and songwriting credits, and all of those things. And so we were able to submit those and support those. I don't know, this was several years ago. I don't know if those credentials have changed or those requirements have changed. My credentials haven't changed, but if those requirements have changed or not. But we submitted them, and we waited a week or two, and kind of with bated breath. Like, I'm like, man, come on, And when I got the letter and I opened up, you thought that I just got into the college of my choice. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't believe it. I opened it up and I read it, and it said, congratulations, you are now a voting member of the Recording Academy. And I sat there and I was like, babe. I was telling my wife, I call her babe. I was like, babe, this right here validates everything that I've been doing. This piece of paper right here, all the hard work I've been putting in for the last 20, 30 years, whatever it is. Even when I took a break, I was always writing. I felt validated and I felt official, And then to get the invitation to go to the Grammys and whatnot, as a voting member, you get the invitation to go. And I was like, how can we not?
Yeah.
We have to at least go to one, And it happened to be, I think year and a half after my second album, The Lottery, came out. And it was in New York City at that. So we were like, we can't not go to this. It's right here, And it was one of the coolest things to see. One of the longest events, because they give out 90 some Grammys.
Right.
On TV, they give out maybe 12. I don't know something much smaller. So there's an event that's like 2 or 3 hours before the televised event where they're giving out all the Grammys that you hear them say, so-and-so won blah, 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 earlier in the day, whatever. And not a lot of the stars are at that particular event. That's where a lot of the producers and the engineers and whatnot, a lot of them are there. And it was cool, and I never wanted a Grammy. Like, I never, and then I started seeing people get up around me, going up to get Grammys and coming off with this beautiful little horn, type, phonograph type thing. And I'm like, well, shoot, now I want a Grammy.
Yeah.
And it, it's really hard. It's really, really hard. It is a lot of networking. It really is. It's a lot of networking. It's a lot of shameless self-promotion, unless you have a record label behind you that is willing to put the money into the promotion. Because what happens is you vote, and I don't know if I'm talking too much about this.
No, not at all. This is the Grammys we talking about, brother.
Yeah, so you're only allowed to vote in so many categories now. Before, I think you could vote, up until a couple years ago, you can vote in a lot more. But I think it's down to like 4 to 6 categories. So I tend now to stick with the categories that I'm most comfortable with, like the R&B, the hip hop, song of the year, stuff like that. But I would, for years, and still even now, I'll get people sending me their links to their music for best spoken word, best world music, children's songs and stuff like that, whatever it is. And it's cool. It's just not my vibe. You know what I mean? But I'll listen to some stuff, and a lot of times I'll critique, but I mean, sometimes it gets so overwhelming. I can't listen to everything, I've got my own life and things I have to do. But it is a lot of shameless self-promotion and hitting people up randomly. Hey, how you doing? Pretending to be like, we're cool. Hey, check this out. How are you? Oh, check this out. It's like you're spamming them almost. But it's accepted in that world at that time when you're doing that.
Right.
I'm still getting, this is the thing, I'm still getting friend acceptances from the first year that I was in the Grammys, when I started friending a bunch of people, because that's what we do. We friend everybody that is in the association, anybody you can, right?
Right.
And some people are just like, they're at the point where I am now. We're like, oh, I can't,
Right.
But and now my friend list is full. Like I told you the other day,
Right.
it's full. So I deleted a bunch of people, and unfortunately, it was a lot of Grammy people, that I don't really interact with.
Right.
Facebook is for my friends and family and some connections. And I'm now again. I have space for 2 more friends. Then I got to start deleting. So every time I see these Grammy people, forgive me, people. Every time I see them, I just delete them if they haven't interacted with me. Because they're honestly not doing anything for me, and I'm not doing anything for them. What's the point? So.
No, I feel that completely. Now, you just moved back to Kansas.
Back to Kansas.
Tell me a little bit about that. I mean, because just back to Kansas means something.
For years, I've had that song title in my head. I was like, man, if I ever move back to Kansas, I'm going to write a song called Back to Kansas. There's something about it just flows off your tongue. It's catchy. Everyone can say it. And it's almost fun to say Back to Kansas. I don't know why, but it is.
And let me say this before we get too far. Where are you moving back here from?
From the East Coast, out in New Jersey.
And how long were you out there?
I was out there 23 years, man. 23 years. So going back to my music group, in 98, we got a production deal. We moved up to New York. Things fell apart when we got there. And so the group, after 10 years or so, disbanded. And one of the guys moved back. 3 of us stayed up there in New Jersey. And we let kind of New York and all the energy from that city just kind of radiate and mold us, and transform what we thought we knew into a whole different level of talent. Like, I'll go out in New York on any given night to a club, a bar, a lounge, and watch somebody sing, and they're not kidding when they say there's so much talent in New York. It's not just that there's so much talent, there's so much high level talent. And I mean, I'm here and I've had people say, oh, you're such a great singer. And no, I'm not. Like, I'm good for myself, I've had this conversation. I couldn't hold a candle to some of those people that will never make it. Like, they're just out there singing in clubs, whenever they can or whatever, just natural ability, and it's amazing. But I've picked up on a lot of that stuff, and I picked up on a lot of showmanship out there, and I've taken that, into my own show, and I've perfected, I don't want to say perfected, but I've, kind of just crafted this whole vibe or persona, so that people know what to expect, or don't know what to expect when they come to an RO show.
Your layering is amazing. Now, we just worked together, I mean, for the first time, actually. But when you got to doing what you were doing on that remix of Kansas and brought in the Kansas, and the way that you layered it was amazing. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I've heard your songs and everything, but just seeing it in real time. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that you've picked up. I know you talked about just not having natural talent, whatever, but the way that your work ethic is, and the way you put different things together and blend your voice, yourself.
Right.
I mean, and that's huge.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's years of working with very, very talented people way more talented than I am. And it's funny, you don't realize it at the time, that you're picking up on, you're learning from these people, and you're taking things away from that. And then when you go do what you have to do somewhere else, people are like, oh, well, now you're kind of teaching them a little bit. They're picking up some stuff from you, and it's just funny how it all works, man. And I'm happy to continue learning. I'm happy to, if anybody can pick up anything from me, I'm happy to share it, So
let me hold $5.
All right, this interview's over. Get the mic off.
RO, now what you got going on right now? You have an album about to come out.
Yes.
You just dropped a single, Back to Kansas, which is going crazy. Tell us a little bit about the album, what inspired it, and when the people can expect it.
So Midwest Charm is obviously a play on where I'm from, the Midwest. The charm as well. I mean, there's something about Kansas people and the Midwest people that are just super nice. And people on the East Coast are always like, do you ever get mad? I'm just, and then of course, it is a play on my charming smile, my dimples and whatnot. It's just kind of a boyish thing, But Midwest Charm is really, it's a love letter to Kansas, it's a love letter to New Jersey, and it's a love letter to New York. In addition to that, it's a love letter to my wife, and it's just a fun album. I figured this is my last studio album, my last full-length album. You know, I'll always do singles and stuff like that, but albums are a lot of work, they're a lot of money, and there's no promise of a return, you know? But so I'm like, okay, this will be it. I'm ready to change directions. I'm ready to do other things. You know, this is why we moved back to Kansas, so we could slow down and try other things. And slowing down has not happened yet.
You've been on the go.
Yeah. So, but it's good. It's all good. It's what we want. You know, and we know that if we want other things, we got to put in the work now. That said, Midwest Charm is. I wanted it to be everything that I wanted it to be, to have everything that I've ever wanted on an album. I've got a song with a live band, a beautiful ballad. I've got, you know, a song called Make Naked a Habit. And that's just a really nice, sexy, you know, what's that? Thunder, well, not thunderstorm. What do they call it? A storm. When they play
Quiet
Storm. Yeah. You actually, it's not. Yeah, it is. It's definitely a Quiet Storm song. I've got some fun, quirky songs on there. I wrote a yacht rock song, man, and it's called Jersey Goodbye, and it's my farewell to Jersey, and it'll be the last song on the album. And if you knew me in Jersey at all, and you know, people here understand, you know me, that song is from the heart, and it's a little bit of a tearjerker. You know, it's from the heart, and I don't know. There's maybe one or two other songs I've ever sang in my entire life recorded where my heart was poured into it that much. And so I'm so excited for people to hear that. I've got a cover song by a guy named Glenn Medeiros called Nothing's Gonna Change My Love for You. I've got a big ballad called You Wake Me from Nightmares. And that song, man, I can't wait. The production on that's great. Several songs, man. There's literally gonna be about 17 or 18 songs on this album, but you're not gonna get all of them on Spotify. You're only going to get all of them if you buy the album on my website. So that'll be the deluxe version of the album. And the reason that is because, and this is for people that are necessarily or just starting out, you're not going to make a lot of money on Spotify. You know, unless you're literally getting millions and millions of spins, you're not going to make a lot of money. Now you can get millions of spins, you'll have to pay for it, but then where's the money? And it might look good to have your numbers here. Well, why aren't those people at your show? You know what I mean? It's like, you know, a lot of people are doing that. They'll pay for spins and they'll pay for views and they'll pay for this, but then they don't have the people at their shows. Like, I'll never forget this line that I had years ago. It's like, where's your fans? Where's your fans? I think you bought them. Dang, oh no, where's your fans? You say you got them, not at your shows. I think you bought them, you know? And it's just like...
Shots fired.
Bam, bam, bam. You know who you are. No, I'm just kidding. But it's just, I've never really believed in that because, again, you could put numbers. What good are numbers if nobody's going to see you? You know what I mean? So there's that. But I don't know. So again, Spotify's great, but if you want to make your money back, put it out on your website first and hope to hell your fans go buy it because you have the best shot of you making your money first.
No, that's real game right there. When is the album dropping? And I know you also have a listening party coming up.
Yeah, so the listening party will be September 17th. It'll be at the Founders Room at the Beacon here in Topeka, Kansas. You can get tickets at RogerOrtega.com, or if you go to Eventbrite.com and search Midwest Charm Listening Party, you'll find it. But RogerOrtega.com is just easiest to remember. The album will drop on my website September 23rd. That's a Friday, payday. If everybody can get paid and, you know, help your boy out. You know,
who's got his money?
There you go.
Who's got Roger Ortega's money?
Get that deluxe version. And I haven't set the Spotify date yet. And I'm almost, and this is again just kind of an insight into my mind. I'm almost hesitant to say a date that I'm going to put it out on Spotify,
right? Because
I don't want people to be like, well, it's only going to be, you know, 2 weeks later, or it's only going to be a week later, or it's only going to be 3 weeks later, whatever it is. I might not put it out till the beginning of the year. No, you know what I mean? That. And I may not even announce when it's on Spotify. You know, I just get it on my website Hey man, it's not cheap being an artist. It is not. And that leads me to something else, if I can talk about this
Yes.
real briefly.
Absolutely.
Is people have to quit hitting people up for free tickets. And that's not just me. That's to promoters, that's the local artists. You know, when we do a show, if I'm putting on a show, I take all the costs. I take the venue, the bartenders, the alcohol, the merchandise, you know, everything that's going to cost me for this show. And then I think, okay, well, how many people can we actually get here? Okay, say we can get, 200 people here. Okay, so tickets have to be this price if I want to break even. Okay, well, now I don't want to just break even. What's the point? I want to make a little bit of money, so I'll add a few dollars to that so we can make some money, you know? I also build in a little comp list that usually consists of my mom, my wife, my daughters. I count them as people there because there's a capacity in the building. And once I have that comp list set, if I were to give out any more tickets or any discounts, now I'm taken away from not only the profit, possibly, now I'm losing money, you know? And a lot of people don't think about that. And they think just because you sing, you're an artist, you can give it away. No, man. I don't go to their jobs and ask them to work for free. Right. You know, I don't try to take food out of their kids' mouths. Right. You know, they're paying for. They're like, well, we're paying to support you. Yeah, but you're also getting a service. You're getting a show. You're getting an experience. You know, and a lot of people don't get that, and so they'll call you up. Hey, guess what? Can me and my girl get into your show?
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, right. Well, I'm like, yeah, you and your girl can get into my show for $25 a piece. You know, it's like, yeah, listen, I would love to let everybody in for free. And occasionally I'll do things for free for everyone, but I can't do that all the time.
Now that's real talk. Roger, I want you to explain what you did for me when I was at the studio the other day and we was talking about creating something from nothing. And you were like, you're talking about the sketch. And everything else when you get in there, man, if you could touch on that just because it was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. It's the way I look at us as artists. When I think of the word artists, when I think of artists, I don't think singing. I think painters, and people that can draw and whatnot. And so, like, when I'm writing a song, to me, that's when I'm sketching it. I'm sketching out the song. These are the outlines. These are the borders. This is what the song is going to look like. As I'm each lyric and each verse, each chorus, each melody, everything. It's like a three-dimensional picture sketch rather, because you've got the melody. I got to get an idea where the harmonies are going to go, but it's really the lyrics, the outline of the song. When I get in the studio, that's when I break out the paintbrush, and that's when I start putting color through the entire thing, adding the layers, adding the harmonies, bringing this outline, this picture to life, and to make it, almost tangible and something that you can see, and not only see but feel. And that's what art is. There was nothing there. It didn't exist until it came out of our heads. Nothing. It's not there. Right now, this love is on life support or whatever. I have just the concept right now. I mean, that's the only thing that exists. The rest of it doesn't exist yet, but it will very soon. Don't you take it from me. It will very soon. And I'll have the outline for that. And eventually, I'll take it to paint it and then put my painting up for sale, because that's what it is.
Man, that's a beautiful thing. Roger, how can the people get in touch with you as far as socials, website, everything else?
The easiest way to find me, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Snap, Facebook, all that, is just to go to rogerortega.com, and there's connections and links to all my socials there. Also, rogerortega.com has all my videos. It has all my songs that I've ever released, and there's like 40 some songs, maybe 50 songs that I've released that I wasn't aware of until I was driving back to Kansas, and I was like, I want to listen to everything that I've ever put out.
Back to Kansas.
So we did, and that got us through almost 3 hours of driving, which is pretty crazy.
Where I'm from.
But yeah, rogerortega.com. You can also find out about the RO Cruise, which is going to be taking place next May. It's May 21st. It's a 7-day cruise leaving from Miami, going to the Dominican Republic.
You got your own cruise?
It's not my own cruise. It's like a cruise group within a cruise. And we go with our fans, and it's a great time. We have meat and drinks every night, not meet and greets, meet and drinks. You know, we have.
So is there actually meat in the drinks, like bacon?
Meat and drinks,
like bacon in the Bloody Mary?
If you want that, you could have it. But it's a great time, man. We have concerts, we have shows, we have contests, games, all sorts of fun stuff. But it's again, RO Cruise. It's going to go from Miami to the Dominican Republic to the U.S. Virgin Islands to the British Virgin Islands, which a lot of people haven't been to, and I just love it there. To Great Stirrup Cay, which is Norwegian's private island. And the best part is that the price includes unlimited alcohol for 7 days. And that's a cabin with a balcony for 2 people, you know, combined is about $2,700. And that's not bad for 7 days of food, fun, sun, and alcohol. Right. And RO.
And RO.
Yeah. So.
You can't go wrong with RO. Hold on a second. Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
You can. Well, RO, man, thanks for being here with us today. Thank you guys for tuning in. And stay tuned for all the different things that he's bringing as he's coming back to Kansas. To Kansas.
Thank you.
Blah.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you found today's episode informative and inspiring. If you liked what you heard and you'd like to hear more, visit pathwaysmeans.com to check out a ton of additional content from the CPM team. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok, where we post daily content and engage with creators like you. Signing off for Pathways and Means, we'll see you next time.